As if the holidays weren't stressful enough. For those who don't get along with their in-laws, it makes that time even more painful.
Yeah, it does. So Counselor Kat Robey joins us with some suggestions on how to make the holidays less stressful when we visit the family. And some of your suggestions are kind of like, we should know these things, but we kind of need a reminder when you're in the stressful situation.
I love that you say that, because absolutely, we all know these things. But where do our coping skills go in the moment?
Implement them.
We're shrunken down into the children that we were in that moment. Because, you know, you're talking about in-laws. We're also talking about our own family.
Yep.
We're also talking about the roles that we played when we were growing up, whether we wanted those roles or not. The roles that are now maybe thrust upon us because that's who we were back then. Maybe it's joking or teasing about certain situations or stories. So, and yeah, then there's in-law kind of stuff. Maybe we don't feel as comfortable with those people, and then there's their whole, you know, your loved one's whole backstory as a child. It's like, there's a lot of stuff to deal with. So, you know, the fact that we should know this doesn't come that easy.
No, that's what I think is the thing. It's, you know, they always say your loved ones know how to push your buttons the best.
Exactly.
You're laughing.
Look at her.
True. Yeah. My dad can set me like off. Like, in a second.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
all of us.
I'm that little baby again, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I'm an adult now. I have my own family now. But
It really helps when you do that too.
I know. I'm an adult. So, what makes the holiday time so stressful? Because I feel like it's even more stressful than normal. Like if we just had our family over for dinner.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. It's all these expectations. I mean, there's the holiday expectations of good cheer and great gifts and having the parties and all that stuff, which is like stress. But then you know those moments are coming. You know.
You anticipate them.
Right. And it just makes it that much worse, you know. So trying to stay in your own skin is so hard because we all have those reactions. We all have that gut feeling that happens off the bat when someone says something to us or brings up some old history or whatever. We get that. But the thing we need to do is try to stop right there. Take a deep breath, take a pause, drop the rope, swim around the bait, whatever you want to call it. It's not that we can't have that reaction, it's that we do something different with it. So we try to just, he just said that thing again. Okay, I don't like the way that feels. I might need to go spruce up my beverage. I mean, what you do isn't as important as just not reacting the same way. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. Go outside and go for a walk around the block for a second. Take a deep breath, change the subject. Anything that means that you're not picking up that rope to play tug-of-war with them. You know, the other tip is to remember what other people are doing, even though this sounds like a really big concept, but what they do and what they say is about them. So one of the keys is to remember, who are you? Who do you want to be in the situation? How do you want to communicate with them or not? You know, the or not is kind of a big thing. Maybe you don't need to or want to go spend time with some people if they're very, very toxic. That's something that you might decide.
And maybe people do feel that way, that it's the holidays. We're almost required to go spend time with family during this time of year, but they know they're going to be getting into something. So do you suggest maybe spending less time or maybe just avoiding it altogether?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a question that each person has to answer for themselves. But I'm glad we're saying it out loud because that shows there's a continuum, right? You may not have to go, or maybe you bring a friend to the gathering and maybe that changes the dynamic, or maybe you say for sure you have another thing so that you can explicitly leave at a certain time, or you go see family but maybe you don't stay with family. Sometimes it's just nice to have that breathing space in between events versus, you know, just trudging upstairs to your old bedroom and sleeping there. You know, some of these things might feel uncomfortable to put a boundary around, but it's going to be that much more uncomfortable to say, oh my God, I can't stand it anymore.
Yeah.
So we all need to have that space. We're different people. We're always going to be their kids. So keep that in mind. But, you know, building in some space to have the, you know, be the person that you want to be and have the life you want to be is also important.
And that's, I mean, you mentioned speak up, but not aggressively. How can we do that?
Right. Again, kind of trying to stay in the awareness of your own reaction. You know, if you know your feelings are hurt, it's probably not going to come out real well, but it's nice to be able to say, I don't appreciate that comment. I don't agree with those kinds of ideas. You know, here we are in political season, you know, the discussions can go anywhere. That's a great opportunity to be able to say, we're not going to agree on this. So I'd rather not talk about it, or if we talk about it, these are the parameters. You know, there are lots of ways to be able to kind of stand up for yourself in an assertive way versus just, you don't get to talk to me that way.
You know what? Uncle Vincey, let's agree to disagree.
Yeah.
I do have an Uncle Vincey.
I love the let's just agree to disagree.
Right.
And then you just leave it as is.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yes.
And
Kat-
they may not. So
Yeah.
be prepared to go fix your drink.
Yeah.
Yes, get them a drink. Change the subject. I mean, we talked about so many things. Kat, thank you
Yes,
so much.
my pleasure.
As always, it's our pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
To get more tips to optimize your relationships, just give Kat a call at 906-3392 or go online to robeycounseling.com.